Hi Carrie Anne, good morning. We are going to look at how to find the slope of a line. So we went over this at the end of last week. So the idea is, at the end of last night. So the idea is you have 2 points we call 1 and 2. This is going to be 2, it's going to be x2, y2, and this is going to be x1, y1. The formula of the slope of the line that joins them is just this. So m is the slope. That's not an m. Sorry, I'm trying to look through my phone screen. There we go. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Just learn this formula first. Okay, so you're basically finding the change in the y. How much has the y changed? From one point to the other, and divided by how much the x has changed. Okay? That is the essence of all these problems. If we had more time, I would go into it in more detail, but the important thing is you need to remember this formula. It's just how much has the y changed divided by how much has the x changed. I will give you a concrete example now. So imagine we've got 2 points. I'm just going to totally randomly come up with these numbers, 12 and 2. Okay. So notice, by the way, that these points aren't even necessarily in the right place, like in terms of plotting them. It really doesn't matter. So we decide one of the points is going to be 1. So I'm going to call this one x1, y1. And we're going to call this other point point 2. It really does not matter which one you choose. Now, the gradient of the line is going to be y2 minus y1. So it's going to be 2, take away 5. So put this into the formula. And now we're going to have 12 take away 3. Right. Now, what do we get? We get negative 3 over 9. And that simplifies to make negative 1/3. So the slope of this line would be negative 1/3. Okay, let's now have a look at this equation. This equation has 5 variables. Each one of them just turns up once. Okay. What this means is that you can only ever find 1 if you have all the other 4. So you ask me, how do you find x and y if you've been given the slope? You can't find x and y just given a slope. I'll give you an example. Okay. So let's imagine here, imagine we had 2 points. So I'm going to tell you the first point. The first point is going to be 2, 3. And let's imagine there's some point we don't know, x and y. And you tell me that the slope between these things, like the slope of the line between them, is 2. So let's have a look here. Okay, so I put this into the formula, m equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So you put this into the formula. In this case, x1 is 2, y1 is 3, and x2 is just x. y2 is y. So we put this in, you get y minus 3 equals x minus 2. And this apparently equals 2. Let's just practice what we did last night. You can multiply up by the entire denominator. That's why I put it in brackets, just so we treat it as one number. And you end up with 2x minus 4 equals y minus 3. Alright, now can you see that this equation has 2 solutions? I'm sorry, has more than one solution. There's an infinite number of numbers that you could think of putting in for x and y. So if we just choose that x is 10, for example, you get 2 times 10 minus 4. So what's that going to be? 20 minus 4 is going to be 16. So we could say that this is 19 minus 3. That would work. Yeah, we could say that y was 19 and x equals 10. That could work, but we could choose some other numbers. And you can pause the video now and you can try for yourself and find out how there's an infinite number of solutions. So the important thing you need to know is that you will never get one where they ask you for x and y. What they might do is they might ask you to find out one of them if they give you one of them, x and y. So let's have a go at that kind of problem. I think that's what you might have been talking about. So once again, let's imagine we've got this point, so let's go for 3, 4, and we've got some other point, and this point is going to have coordinates 6 and y. And I'm going to tell you that the gradient of the line that joins these two is going to be, what is it going to be? Let's say it's 5. I use the formula, I write it out, m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I put all the numbers in, 5 equals y minus 4. I suggest you stop the video, by the way, and do this yourself and then check. And then 6 minus 3. So you get 5 equals y minus 4. What's 6 minus 3? 3. Okay, now we multiply it by the denominator. We get 15 equals y minus 4. And then finally, we add 4 to both sides. And what do we get? We get y equals 19. So there you go. There's an example of a problem where we find the slope. Sorry, we find one of the coordinates given the slope. But you see, it was only when we had y, and we already knew x. We could have flipped this around. We could have done like known y and found out x. But if I give you x and y, sorry, if I don't give you x and y, then you just can't solve it because you get a problem that has an infinite number of solutions.